Saturday morning. I am gearing up to do a little bit of baking this morning. I don't have a ton of time, but these are some recipes made with love, as I like to call it. They have a little bit of a Valentine's touch, super easy recipes, so really nice to do if you have young kids or even just something that's quick and easy in the kitchen for those that you love. I am starting off with an artisan loaf actually that has some freeze-dried strawberry powder in it. I don't know if you can tell, it's a very subtle pink. I don't know how it'll look after it's baked, but we're gonna give it a try. And then I also stirred in some chocolate chips, and I thought that would be a fun little twist on just a normal artisan loaf. I'm gonna cover this, let it sit for about half an hour, and in the meantime, I wanna mix up some sugar cookies. Now, most of my baking today will be with fresh milled flour and not sourdough. I know that there's some difference of opinion there on whether or not fresh milled flour loses some nutrients when you sourdough it. Some people say it definitely does. Some people say it definitely doesn't. I do love to do both sourdough and fresh milled, but I've just been noticing that in my stomach, just when it's fresh milled, is incredible. It feels so good. So anyways, we are gonna focus mainly on that. And that also, for those of you that don't do either fresh milled or sourdough, I've had a number of requests to do more cooking, baking that way. And so these recipes will be super easy for you to do as well. All you have to do is replace the fresh milled flour with all-purpose flour. So let's get started on our sugar cookie dough next. Okay, got our flour all milled. I just cannot get over how delicious this makes everything. I want to make a pizza a little bit later with this as well, and it has honestly been our favorite pizza crust we've ever made. So that has been surprising for me. I thought we would be compromising taste when we opted for the benefits of fresh milled, which has just been the opposite experience. We all absolutely love it. But I have all this ready, so we're gonna go ahead and mix our sugar cookies. I was debating on whether or not I wanted to use maple syrup or even honey in place of powdered sugar, which I normally would do when we're just doing it for home, but I think we'll be taking these along to a fellowship meal at our church tomorrow. So I'll probably just do it as the recipe calls this time, aside from we will still be using the fresh milled. Let's take a little break from the kitchen and talk about today's video sponsor, which is Blueland. I've talked about them on here before, but if you are new, basically they are a great option for cleaner cleaning products. They have everything from laundry soap, hand soap, dishwasher soap, toilet tabs, the list goes on. I love their philosophy behind how they package their products. So whether it's the laundry soap or even the hand soap, all of it comes in little tablets. And basically that way, even with the hand soap, you just take one little tablet, put it in your soap dispenser and fill the rest of the way with water. And so obviously it's less for shipping as well then. All of Blueland's products are free from ammonia, chlorine bleach, phosphates, and a whole list of other things. Their products are also hypoallergenic and sourced from vegan and non-GMO ingredients. If you try them and end up loving them, you can actually sign up for a subscription as well. It's not required, but it is a way that you can save even more on already very affordable cleaning products. The kids use their hand soap a lot when they come in from the barn and just clean up, does a beautiful job with that. And then the laundry tabs, also our clothes gets dirty. Here on the farm, it gets smelly, and so I feel like if this will get our clothes clean, that should be a pretty good scale for anybody else. If you would like to try Blueland, they did give me a 15% discount on your first order, which is only good for my viewers, so I will leave that for you right here as well as in the description box below. A huge thank you to Blueland for sponsoring this portion of today's video. Now let's get back to the kitchen. All right, let's put our butters into here. I want 2 cups of butter, and I'm actually a little short on butter, so I'm gonna do my last half of a cup with avocado oil. Then we're gonna add 3 cups of powdered sugar, about a tablespoon of vanilla, and then I'm gonna whip this until it's light and fluffy, so like 2-3 minutes. forgot my eggs, so we're gonna go ahead and add 2 eggs before we finish whipping this. Then I'm gonna add 5 cups of my fresh milled flour. And some of you have been asking if I sift my flour. I do not. I did it one time and noticed immediately that it does not feel near as good in my stomach. I feel like when we just eat it fully, like with everything intact without sifting it or anything, it feels more like a vegetable in your stomach. You don't get that heavy bready feeling. And as soon as you sift it, I feel like it feels more like sourdough, which is still a lot better than store-bought, but you don't feel light and so good in your stomach after. So I prefer to just leave the bran and everything in it when I make anything with fresh milled flour. Also adding 2 teaspoons of baking soda, as well as 2 teaspoons of cream of tartar. I'm gonna switch to my paddle attachment here, and then we'll just mix this until it's combined. And then we'll let it sit in the refrigerator until it's nice and firm. So I'm guessing it'll be like 2-ish hours. Hopefully not longer because I don't have much more time. Okay, let's get our loaf baking. We have one more dough to mix up before we get to the fun stuff, and this is going to be a sourdough fresh milled pie crust. Now you could easily substitute some things in here to make it to your liking depending on how you do your baking. Just sourdough, this is delicious, but of course I'm going to use the fresh milled here this morning, especially since this is a sourdough discard recipe. So normally if I'm not using fresh milled, I use this exact crust just with all-purpose flour, and then I'll let it sit in the refrigerator overnight, or even up to, I think I've had it in there up to 5 days. 3 to 5 days you should be safe to continue to use it, and that would just give you more of the fermented benefits as well. But we're going to start with grating some butter into here. Okay, and then we'll add a cup of our flour here, as well as a dash of salt and a sprinkle of sugar. And I'm just gonna grab my pastry cutter and cut this in. Now we're gonna add a teaspoon of vinegar, as well as our sourdough discard. Let me grab that. And we'll add about half a cup of that. I'm actually just gonna dump it out, and then I like to kind of work it with my hands. Shaped it into a little disc like this. We're gonna cover this in saran wrap, and then I'll pop it in the fridge for a little bit, maybe 15 to 30 minutes. And this is enough for one pie crust. So I wouldn't say it screams Valentine. At least on the outside you can't really see the pink. And my hearts look a little bit, well, the chocolate chips are poking through them. Aside from that, it looks delicious. I'm waiting to cut into it and see what the inside looks like. All right, our sugar cookie dough seems ready to roll out. So we're gonna roll this out. I think I'll just do everything with my heart cookie cutter. We'll just do them all the same. I cannot wait to show the kids that this is what I'm doing. They're playing outside. It is such a beautiful, finally a little bit of a warmer day here in Pennsylvania. It has been a cold winter. Maybe one of the coldest since Josh and I got married and I moved here, which is now, goodness, 12 years ago? Almost 13? Wow, that's crazy. Okay, wow, I hope this holds together. First impression is a little bit crumbly. Well, let's roll it out. The kids are going to be so excited for this, and I think I'll invite them in to help me, if I can get them inside, honestly. They love to be outside, but to help decorate them later would be super fun. Okay, we're gonna pop these in the freezer for a couple more minutes and then bake them. I'm honestly a little bit nervous how these will turn out. I've been racking my brain as I'm working this dough why it's so crumbly and just the feel of the crumb. You might think, oh, well, duh, it's the fresh milled flour. It's not as fine. It could be partially that, but I have baked so many things with fresh milled and this is not how it feels. But then I remembered I put in that ½ cup of avocado oil, and I'm pretty sure it's that because for a while I tried baking with just avocado oil and this is what stuff like that felt like. So I don't know if it's just the avocado oil or if it's the mixture of both together, but I'm just hoping that putting these in the freezer, for one, my dough is not super like firm. So I want them to firm up so they don't run all over the place, but I'm also hoping they actually hold together or else this might turn into dessert crumbs. But things like this are not failures and you can't look at them as that in the kitchen. They're just lessons learned, school money, as my mom would say. You live and you learn and then you know for next time. So I'm still hoping that these turn out beautiful, but at this point it's a little up in the air. Let's see if we have some better success with our pie crust here. The one that we did actually use butter, although I do sometimes make this with lard as well, but we used butter today. We're gonna roll this out and bake it. This is not a baked strawberry pie, so I wanna bake my crust before I fill it. And to be honest, I'm not super careful with what my crust looks like for this because you can't even see it. So we're gonna roll this out, put it in the pie pan, bake it so that that can cool, and then we can work on the filling. Got a bit of an unnecessarily big piece of parchment here, but I'm gonna dump in some beans just to help the shell keep its form. I don't even nearly always do this because, like I said, I don't really care so much about the crust for this recipe. We're gonna put these in and then pop this in the oven, and then I thought it might be fun. I'm not sure yet if I'll use it or not. I have a little bit of pie crust left, and so I thought it would be fun to get my tiny little heart cookie cutter and make a couple of little hearts that we can add onto the topping or even in individual pieces. I don't know if I'll actually use them, but I may as well since I have just a little bit of leftover crust. So we will bake this now and then work on the filling. Okay, those are so cute. The kids are gonna love that. The recipe that I'm using for the inside of my pie is actually from Heidi Marie over on Instagram, and I'll have her handle linked in the description box below, as well as put this recipe there. I do not follow hers to a T, so I'll put what I do in the description box below, but if you want to see hers, she adds a cream cheese layer, which I know a lot of people would love. I feel like it gets too heavy, so I might be the minority. We are gonna brush chocolate on the pie, so it's basically like chocolate dipped strawberries but in pie form, and it's absolutely incredible. So I'm gonna make the glaze now, and I know that you can easily buy a strawberry glaze at the grocery store, but once you've ever made your own, you never wanna go back because it's 10 times better and it's really easy to make. It's almost like you're just making Jell-O and then adding in strawberries. I guess there's a couple more things that I don't do quite like her recipe. I'm doing 2/3 cup of sugar instead of a full cup. We do not like things terribly sweet, but I think in her recipe she also said 1 cup or less, so you can definitely adjust the sweetness to your liking. While you're watching, I would so love to hear what something is that you love making, either specifically for Valentine's or even just this time of year. I have so been enjoying learning from you guys in the comments, getting meal ideas, cooking, baking ideas, and just getting to know you better. So if you have a minute, I would love to hear what's on your menu this week or even just over Valentine's. Okay, I need to cut up a bunch of strawberries for the filling, but also I want to do some chocolate dipped strawberries. I am gonna go ahead and just lay these out here to dry for that because I do want them to be clean and nicely dried before I dip them in chocolate. So I'm going to lay these out here and then we'll get some more to cut up for our strawberry pie. I cannot wait until I can make this pie with freshly picked strawberries straight from the garden. These are delicious, don't get me wrong, but there is absolutely nothing like fresh fruits and vegetables just picked seconds ago. Wow, some of these are massive. All right, my glaze has been cooking for about 10 minutes now, so I'm going to go ahead and pour that into a bowl so that it can chill because you want this to be completely cool before you add strawberries and then add it to the pie crust. Oh no, I almost forgot a very important part of this pie, which is chocolate on the crust. You can melt this in a pan, but I actually like to just sprinkle some chocolate chips onto the crust as soon as you take it out of the oven, which this is a couple minutes later, so we're gonna see how this works. Oh yeah, they're starting to melt. I think they'll be good. But that layer is absolutely essential if you ask me. I'm gonna let this sit for just a couple minutes till they're melted and then I'll just smear it so that it's nice and even. And when you chill this pie in the fridge, that layer solidifies again and it just adds this nice crunch but also delicious chocolate flavor to this strawberry pie. All right, the cookies actually look like they're gonna hold together. However, they did spread some. And so I'm just going ahead and taking my cookie cutter again. If you do this while they're still warm, they shouldn't crumble too badly. And I'm just recutting out the insides so that we still have a nice cookie shape going on here. And then I did also sample them and they taste delicious. So the flavor is definitely 10 out of 10. The looks could use a little bit of help, and I think that had I used all butter, it would have been way better because I have made this recipe before. Okay, I just checked my glaze. It is not completely cool. However, I'm gonna go ahead and add my strawberries now because if you let it cool completely, it's gonna get firm like Jello, and so I don't want that to happen just yet. I'm gonna put my strawberries in and then I'll actually feel it again because I want it to be about lukewarm when I pour it into the pie. I don't want it making my crust soggy, although that is a lot less likely to happen because we have that layer of chocolate kind of insulating. Okay, it's still a little bit runny, so I'm gonna wait to pour this into the crust. But look how good that already looks. All right, I just whipped up the buttercream for these cookies. However, I am making some pizza for lunch using all fresh milled flour. This is our very favorite pizza crust we've ever made. And I wish I could share it with you, but it's actually from the Food from the Heart cookbook. So I'll leave that linked for you below. And I was thinking maybe individual pizzas would be fun. I don't know, maybe I'm making too much work for myself. I should learn that whole like, swing it around thing. That would be fun. Can't be that hard to make a heart shape, right? Since we're doing Valentine's today. Ooh, that could be cute. I love putting a little bit of avocado or olive oil over my crust and sprinkling it with a little bit of freeze-dried basil, which by the way, I just got an email yesterday, I think, saying that the freeze dryers are $100 off right now. I use mine all the time. And so if you have been eyeing one as well, I know they are an investment. For us, they have been well worth it, but I know that it's still a lot of money. So if you've been eyeing one, I think they're already running a sale with that. So you get $100 extra off of the sale with the code LOVE100. So that's a little FYI for those that have been waiting for a sale. Do you see that heart? I'm not gonna get too excited till it bakes, but let's grab some avocado oil. Yeah, it looks good. And then I have my homemade pizza sauce we canned last summer. How about we do some cheese on this one? And then I have some spinach. And then we'll do some chicken on this one.
Golden light pours through the blinds, wash away the worries like a winding tide.
All right, just getting ready to pipe some buttercream onto these cookies. This is just my normal buttercream recipe, except I added a 1/4 cup of freeze-dried strawberry powder. Basically, I just throw them in the blender, grind them up really fine, and then add them. It adds incredible flavor as well as natural food color.
In this soft light, troubles fade away with you. No need for words to say your love. Gentle.
Okay, I don't think I'll actually leave these like this because it is a lot of frosting, but I started and I thought they were so pretty, so I at least wanted to see what it looks like. I'll probably end up doing the rest of these just like this, which is also fun, but it's a lot less frosting. But these are the cookies and they do seem to be holding together well.
I give up the world, the moon, the sky. For you, I'd reach so high. Across the ocean.
Okay, hopefully you can hear me above the mixer. I am currently whipping some whipped cream. My Jell-O is set now. You can see it's no longer runny, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it on my pie and then we'll top it with whipped cream.
I give up my dreams, my hopes, my view. For you, what more could I ever do? I give up the world, the moon, the sky. For you, I
can't look at these piles of frosting anymore. I am scraping off most of it, and then we're putting these little heart sprinkles on top instead. It's a cute look, but way too much frosting. So anyways, here I am doing this by myself. I thought it would be fun to do with the kids, but they're just having way too much fun outside. Josh's dad is helping him this afternoon. They're working on replacing the barn doors, so they're putting new barn doors on, and the kids are just having way too much fun. And so I guess we will save cookie decorating together a different day, but they are very excited to eat these, so at least there's that. Okay, that is looking much better. In fact, I have this whole bowl of leftover icing, so I am thinking this is definitely the better way to go here. I like to just kind of scrape off the bottom. Can't see the chocolate there anyway, and it just makes it a little bit less. Let's let them set. Okay, so that is what the bread looks like. I wouldn't say it really looks pink. It looks almost purpley. And then of course the chocolate chips. So I probably wouldn't bother with the freeze-dried strawberries next time, but I think the flavor will be delicious. Our pie is set and ready for the whipping cream, so I'm going to put that on. This is just heavy cream with vanilla and maple syrup. We're going to put that on top and we'll be done with the pie. Well, what do we think? I'll have to tell Josh and the kids it's ready because they have been waiting for the moment. Well, that was fun. We did not quite finish by lunch, but at least it's early afternoon and we got a lot done. We have our strawberry chocolate chip bread. Actually, it's pretty much what we did today was strawberry and chocolate. If you don't like both of those things, then I'm sorry. I should have warned you. We had our sourdough strawberry chocolate loaf. Of course, our fresh milled sugar cookies, our chocolate dipped strawberries, our chocolate pie, our pizzas. That was fun. I love spending time in the kitchen like this, and I hope you enjoyed following along as well. Don't forget to check out Blue Land if you are looking for cleaning products. Thank you so much for being here. Happy Valentine's Day, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye, friends.